pete'stools.com.
G'day guys, Pete's Tools, great to see you here again today. Hey, I've had a few emails from you fellas wanting to know the cheapest replacement torches you can find on the net really. So today what we'll look at guys, this is the three best replacement plasma torches that I've found on Amazon anyway guys. And hopefully they'll fit onto your plasma cutter, especially if you're using a generic Chinese one like I am. Anyway guys, same as usual, you like my videos, subscribe, drop me a like, drop me a comment, come say g'day Pete at pete'stools.com. And let's get into it, eh? So once again guys, I'm just talking about my trusty cut 40, it'd be the same as a cut 50, cut 60, all the same thing. As long as you got the same input connections here for your plasma torch. Those are the torches that I'm talking about anyway. So you just got like your 16mm air connector here. Just got your plug for your op-on switch here. And you just got your earth clamp lead here. So those are all pretty standard guys. This is all pretty standard for your generic Chinese plasma cutter. I'm not talking about the ones with the Euro fittings for the plugs and that on the front, because all I know about is these ones, because I've had these ones for years and I've never had any issue with it. And the advantage with these is that most of these plasma torches will fit on this machine. I mean, I even run a 80 amp plasma torch on this machine and it runs perfectly fine. So there you go. So anyway guys, I'll give you my three best torches, the cheapest ones that I could find on Amazon that are run on these generic sort of machines. Right, the first plasma torch I'd recommend to you guys is my favourite of all time, which is the PT31 or the LG40. Just depends what country you're in. We call it the PT31 here. It's an LG40 in China, and it might be in the States as well. And I think it may be in the UK for you guys that are living in the UK as well, as an LG40. But what I like about these is they're really cheap to buy. They're really cheap to run, and you get two different sizes of consumables. You can get like the long consumables here, or you can get the shorter consumables as well. So it gives you a good choice really. Really good torch, really cheap to run like I say. And half the battle guys is when you first start and you need a torch that's cheap to run. You don't want an expensive torch to run because it can end up costing you a fortune and it just makes your plasma cutting miserable. If every time you're pulling the trigger on your plasma cutter you're thinking you're just blowing another $5, you know, it gets pretty boring pretty quick. So guys, same as usual, I'll be cutting 3mm plate. I have a lot of this lying around the workshop because like I say, I make my dumpsters and that out of it. It's still quite thick, it's good for manufacturing stuff out of, and it's quite strong. It's not like really thin sheet metal. So this is what we'll cut guys. Grab my trusty ruler that I made. This is probably the best thing I ever made guys. So if you want to make one of these, just check the links below on the description. I'll show you how to make one of these rulers. Don't cost bugger all, a couple of magnets and it bobs your wombat. Anyway, Pete, stop waffling and let's start cutting. Yeah! Right guys, just the cheapest PT31 torch. Nice cut there guys, no worries at all. So that's the cheapest torch that I could find is the PT31. Righto guys, this torch is called an AG60, well it is here in New Zealand anyway. I think there's a few other names for them, but I'm just not quite sure what they are in the UK and in the USA. This is a nice little torch as well. What I like about this one guys is that it hasn't got an integrated switch like this. This is an integrated switch and this is a clip-on switch. I like that for a really good reason guys, because if you run over these, if you're as rough as what I am and you break these switches, and you do it with the internal switches as well, you break them quite often. Sometimes it's just easier to buy a new gun rather than replace the switch. But if you've got a switch like this that's zip tied onto your torch handle, it's really easy to replace it. All you do is just go and buy a replacement switch. Here, I've got one here, I'll show you fellas. So you guys, you can just get a replacement switch like that and just put them on there, just cut it off, put a bit of tape in there, join them up, and away you go. Bob's your wombat again, and you're up and running. I mean, you can buy two of these switches, I think, for about $3. So, you know, it's no big deal whatsoever. I'll put some links to all this stuff in the description down below if you're interested in buying some of this stuff, guys. Once again, guys, this AG60 torch will just plug into your generic plasma cutter, no worries at all. As long as it's got the same plugs in that I showed you. Like I said, they're 50 amp, 60 amp. The 40 amp, 35 amp, they all have much the same plugs like I showed you on the front of my machine. As long as they're a generic Chinese thing, you'll have no worries at all. And that's why I like them, because it gives you the options of swapping out your torches and all sorts of other bits and pieces. So this is the AG60 torch, guys. The consumables for this are a little bit more expensive than what they are for the PT31 torch, but it's not going to break the bank, you know what I mean? I mean, an extra couple of cents for a tip or an electrode is not going to break the bank, really, is it, guys? So we'll go and cut some with this, and I'll show you how this one goes. Rightio guys, the next cheapest is the AG60 with the little trigger on the top. Nice little torch guys, really nice little torch. It's not as ergonomically designed as the big one that I'm going to show you. Hey, ergonomic, wow, that's a big word for you Pete, now try and spell it. Once again guys, really nice looking cut, no worries at all. Like I say, you can buy that torch for about 29 bucks, so why wouldn't you? Well now guys, it's a quite big sucker here. This is the 80 to 100 amp plasma torch, running on my 40 amp plasma cutter, so it will run it, no worries whatsoever. And you can either use this as a pilot arc or a non-pilot arc torch, whatever you want really. Well that's what I do anyway. At the moment I've got it set up to pilot arc, which is when you push your button like that, the flame comes out. But you can just as easily have it non-pilot arc. So what I've done guys is taken the pilot arc wire off. Like I say, if you want to know how to do this, check the description down below. And we'll have some links to some other videos. So now it's a non-pilot arc. There that, same with the other torches. Just push the button, nothing comes out until we touch it on the steel. Rightio Pete, so let's cut this one. Yeah! Now before I cut that off completely guys, I don't know if you notice, here I'll show you. Notice this cut here is much wider than the other cuts. I'll see if I can zoom in for you. Much wider than the other cuts that I've been doing. That's the simple reason that this tip here, I don't know if you can see it or not, it's got a much larger hole in it like that. So what we're basically doing is we're cutting a wider strip out of whatever we're cutting. So let's just finish cutting this off guys. Once again guys, really good looking cut, nothing wrong with that at all, and that's using an 80 amp torch on a 40 amp plasma cutter machine. So anyway guys, they're about my 3 best cheapest torches that I could find for you on Amazon. They're the ones that I'd buy anyway. Well yeah, if you've watched any of my videos you know they're the ones that I use anyway. So there you go. So guys, that's about the 3 best plasma torches that I use anyway. All of them are pretty good. Like I say, I like the bigger one because it just suits my needs a little bit better, and it's a little bit heavier, but the PT31 is also a great torch guys, no worries whatsoever. Anyway guys, that's about enough bullshit from Pete this week. If you like my videos, subscribe, drop me a like, drop me a comment, come say good day at petestools.com. Anyway guys, take it easy. Bye.
petestools.com